First of all, we'll start with Buckley. Amazing performance by him. Colby obviously suffered the cut, which kind of screwed him up. But give us your thoughts on that fight and how it played out.
Yeah, I was curious to see how it would go if it went 5 rounds, if it went later in the rounds. No doubt that was a bad cut, but that fight doesn't get stopped in Vegas. That fight keeps going in Vegas.
You think it could have gone?
100%.
Okay. What did you make of Buckley's performance? Since moving to welterweight, he's really improved. He's shown himself to be a real contender at that division.
Yeah, listen, you go in and beat Colby Covington, it's a big deal. Love him or hate him, the guy's a dog, fucking tough as nails. Took big shots to the body tonight. Took big shots to the head that would have knocked a lot of people out. Colby's durable and tough, but when you get cut, anything can happen.
Do you feel like for Colby then he shouldn't sort of be too hard on himself after this, right? Because the cut, it was bad. You could tell it was bothering him.
It was definitely bothering him. And literally, as soon as the corner would fix it, he's waiting to walk back out and he rips it open again and makes it start bleeding again. So that alone tells you that the cut was bothering him big time.
Just as looking at the Adrian Yanez fight, I don't know if you saw that, but he got kicked in the nuts and poked in the eye at the same time. The referee didn't take a point. In situations like that, would you like the referee to be a bit more involved and take points, or do you hope that they don't get involved and kind of influence the fight like that?
I have no idea. I mean, yeah, I would say that a double foul is probably definitely worthy of taking. So I woke up this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. We did looking for a fight, the Korean Zombie show, and I felt like the judging and the reffing was better over there in Korea than what we got going on. So listen, I've had a lot of problems with judging, reffing over the last several fights.
Putting you on the spot, fighter of the year, Alex Pereira or Ilia Topuria? Which one are you going with?
Fighter of the year? Yeah. It's tough with those two. It's tough. And when you look at Alex, he's taking last-minute fights. He's on vacation, comes in and fights, not 100%, comes in and fights. I mean, it's tough. I don't even want to say a name, but I respect the shit out of both of them for what they've done this year.
Buckley called out Usman. Is that a fight that you think makes sense?
Yeah, listen, Usman's one of the best ever. I didn't hear him. I didn't know that, but yeah. That fight doesn't suck.
And overall, what do you think of Colby? I know the fight was stopped from a cut, but from a performance standpoint until the stoppage, what do you think of it?
Yeah, listen, Colby's an older guy that fights, every once in a while. He's always durable and he's always tough. Like I just said to him, did you hear the body shots he was getting hit with tonight and the head shots he took? That stuff would have stopped, other guys. Colby's tough. But I also feel like Colby wasn't too pissed that fight got stopped by the cut. The cut was definitely bothering him.
And Cub Swanson, a veteran of the game, WEC still out here representing. He said that he might retire. He still doesn't know. He said we'll see. But if this is the last performance, I mean, what a way to walk out, right? If this is
it is the way to go. And what's funny is he says, I promised my wife this would be my last one, but I don't know. We'll see. When a fighter wins, and especially wins as spectacularly as he did tonight, it's just so hard for these guys to walk away. But to be honest with you, if Cub says, I promised this to my wife, I'm going to walk away, I'm happy for him. If he says, you know what, I definitely got one more in, I don't disagree with him.
And I want to ask you about Ilia Topuria. Earlier this week, he said he wants to go up to 155 and fight Charles Oliveira. I'm sure you probably heard of those comments. Is that a possibility for him?
I didn't hear that.
Well, he's interested in
I don't
fighting.
know. I mean, right here, right now, I don't know.
Okay. And any word on potentially going to Spain? I know that's a market that's been blowing up. Obviously, we just saw.
No new news on that, but that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
In 25, I want to go to a lot of places that we haven't been. I'm sure you're already hearing rumblings of places that we're going to go that we haven't been to in a minute. But Spain is definitely high on the list.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dustin Poirier said he's been teasing one last fight, his last dance, and recently he was on Twitter and he said basically that he's got something cooking and that quote unquote there will be blood. Have you guys planned something for Dustin? You have to reveal obviously.
No, we're in the middle of talks for him with something that he wants to do for the end of his career. Yeah.
Lo primero de todo, quería saber cómo valoras la actuación de Joel el Fenómeno Alvarez después de haber noqueado de esa manera a Drakkar Klose.
Yeah. Obviously, I was just saying to him, looking very forward to going to Spain and trying to figure that out. So, yeah, hopefully, great performance, but hopefully we're going to see more Spanish fighters in the UFC. And one of the things that happens is when we go into a new market that we've never been, and you introduce the people to the live event, whatever size the arena is, you assume will sell out or come close to selling out, and you create this explosion in the market in these different places. And I look forward to doing that in Spain.
Joel tiene 22 victorias profesionales y 22 finalizaciones. ¿Crees que ya tendría la entidad suficiente como para ser la pelea estelar de un Fight Night en España en lugar de un pay-per-view si es más complicado llevarlo a nuestro país?
Yeah. No, I think if we go first time in Spain, you go big and you do a pay-per-view. Make it a big event.
También ha trasladado Joel durante esta semana que tenía la intención de pasar al peso welter, bueno, pues por la dificultad siempre del recorte de peso siendo tan grande. ¿Crees que es una posibilidad para él o preferirías que se mantuviera en el peso ligero?
Yeah, I don't love when guys jump around. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. I don't know.
Respecto también a Ilia Topuria, dijo en el partidazo de la COPE, es un programa famoso en España, que su intención era ir a por el cinturón del peso ligero y como Makhachev ya tenía pelea, quería ir a por Charles Oliveira. ¿Esto es una opción real? Y en caso de que eso no sea una opción real, ¿Alexander Volkanovski será el siguiente rival de Ilia Topuria?
Same response. I have no idea right now. Listen, this is the last fight of the year. We're off for a month. We'll get our shit back together in 25 and we'll figure out what's next for everybody.
What did you think of Michael Johnson tonight? Kind of turned back the clock, big KO, and then he came back here and said, I want to do this 5 more years or more.
Yeah. Well, listen, tell me the last Michael Johnson fight that sucked. I mean, that guy comes out first round, guns a-blazing. You know, he always tries to win. He's a fun guy to watch. And, yeah, been here for a long time, and I'm happy for him.
And you just said you don't love guys jumping around, but earlier this week, Michael Chandler said, hey, I'd go up to 170 to fight Colby. Is that something you would consider?
Everybody's talking about, you know, I don't know. I have no response to any of those types of, whatever the fighters are talking about. Every Tuesday we get in a room and we'll figure out what's going on.
Fair enough. Thanks very much.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't really pay a lot of attention to the talk. I literally, people will go, oh, did you know this guy? I said, no, I have no fucking idea. I don't pay attention to any of this shit. I live in my own little bubble and we do our things on Tuesday and we figure this stuff out. And yeah, I don't hear a lot of this stuff. Unless this woman right here tells me I don't know about it.
Hello, sir.
Yep.
One more question about 311. It will be a really tough tournament in the term of security. 2 guys from Dagestan, 1 guy from Armenia, 1 guy from Georgia, and we have seen a fight between Merab and Omar on the last pay-per-view. So, if compare this tournament 311 to the event with Khabib and Conor, there will be more security measures in LA, or the same?
We're going to reduce security when we go into LA for that fight. We'll cut it in half. We'll be okay, sir. That's what we do. Obviously, the Khabib Conor thing we were ready for. One guy missed his leg by fucking inches from keeping him from jumping over, but it happened. We'll do everything we can to make sure that it's safe there.
And quick one from me. You said that you watched the Korean Zombie Fight Night. What's the destiny of the guy from press conference in Abu Dhabi? He lost by decision, so his road to UFC is now closed for now.
Yeah. No, I picked the other guy. I don't know if you wouldn't know that, but I picked the other guy. He won the fight. And he looked damn good doing it. He was the better, well-rounded fighter. The other kid looked very one-dimensional. And the Korean Zombie told me he had a lot of problems with that kid that week, threatening to pull out of the fight if he didn't get more cornermen and crazy shit like that. So, yeah, played out the way it should have.
Jones versus Aspinall, is that sort of the big priority, and you think that's the biggest fight the promotion can put on in 2025?
100%. And I think it's probably the biggest fight in heavyweight history, and it's a massive fight in the history of the company too. It's a big fight.
Yeah, we know Tom Aspinall's down. Jones is kind of like on the fence, or at least that's what he said publicly. But
Right.
Have you talked?
It's weird.
To him? How confident?
What's weird about that? Let me tell you what's weird about that. So usually, those guys say that shit behind the scenes and not publicly. John says that shit publicly, but not behind the scenes. John is a very unique individual to deal with. From day one, I've been confident that John Jones would do that fight, right? I mean, even before the fight, I said if he won, there's no way John doesn't do this fight. John Jones isn't afraid to fight anybody, and that's a fact. And the only time that anything remotely weird has ever happened with John Jones was the time that his fucking camp did the weird Chael Sonnen thing. We can't fight Chael Sonnen on short notice. Other than that, and that wasn't him, it was his team, and he listened to his team for whatever reason. But that's like the goofiest fucking move in the history of the UFC. But other than that, John Jones behind the scene is not a guy that turns down fights.
Would you guarantee 100% we see that fight?
Yeah. I'll say 100%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Dana, thanks for your time. I just want to talk about Colby for a sec because, I mean, he's already gotten his shot at gold 4 times if we're counting interim. After a loss like tonight, what's next for him?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask him that question. You know, he's obviously still one of the top-ranked guys. Like we were saying about him all night. Took big shots, stayed in there. The cut was obviously bothering him. But I also believe that if that fight's in Vegas, that fight doesn't get stopped with that cut. And but I don't think that Colby was very upset when it did. It was bothering him.
So you think that was almost a way out for him?
No, I'm not saying it was a way out. He didn't say, hey, look at my cut. The ref stopped the fight and called the doctor in, and the doctor called the fight. So it's not, he doesn't have a decision in that matter. So no, it's not a way out. I like the way you fucking spun that, though, and see how I would answer that. And then everybody would write, that isn't even in this fucking press conference, that Dana said Colby was looking for a way out with the cut. That's the fucking dumb shit that happens in these press conferences that drive me fucking crazy. So thank you, sir, but go ahead.
I just got one more for you. Izzy just took his first non-title fight, and I mean over 12 fights. So can you just walk us through how that one came together?
Yeah, I mean, when we were talking about that fight, we were tripping out. This guy hasn't fought in a non-title fight since like 19, which is a testament to how great of a fighter he is and has been over the last several years. And that's why we headlined him in Saudi on the fight night.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a great night, everybody. Happy holidays and Happy New Year, and I'll see you next year.